Hi guys, welcome back to TNG Productions. My name is Tom and I'm once again joined by Mr. Ronnie Renton.
Hello everyone.
And we're looking at something very different in this one.
Indeed.
What are we going to be looking at today?
Well, we are talking Vanguard.
Incredibly exciting.
It is, and I'm super, and I think everyone... So, let's try and make a sentence. We have always kind of thought about our gaming systems all set in the world. We've got the Kings of War world, we've got the Warpath world.
Yeah.
And Warpath, you've got the mass battle, Warpath, you've got the big battles, firefight, you've got the skirmish level, dead zone, full terrain integration, board game, Star Saga. So depending where you are in your hobby cycle, you can interact, but then all the minis work from one to the other.
All cross-compatible, you can dip in and out, depending on how much time you've got to play.
And how much you want to paint, and da-da-da-da-da. Our fantasy had very early on Kings of War, first product we ever made, mass battle popular. Fantasy, and that was largely because that's when I started in my hobby, and so we started there, and then a few years later Dwarf King's Hold, which later became Dungeon Saga.
Yes.
Dwarf King's Quest. You've got the board game, very popular and a good, good fun, and introducing people to playing with miniatures.
I use it with my students all the time.
Yeah.
It's really popular.
Lovely, exactly how I want to see it. And then you've got this mass battle game, which people have really picked up on, and is, I think it's the default mass battle game. But there's an obvious gap in this one.
You need your intermediary.
That I want to get into it, but there's no way I'm painting an army, or I've got a dwarf army, but I want to play the Trident Realms, the Fishmen army. Yeah. So can I play with a lighter touch? That is Vanguard.
In steps Vanguard.
So it's a skirmish level game, but we really spent a lot of time thinking and then developing what we wanted the game to be. So firstly, it is not abstracted from the Kings of War world. In other words, there's not a city that's been destroyed by a meteor over here and you're picking up bits of gems or it's some wizards. No, this is set right in the heart of the Kings of War world. And the Kings of War world it's just a world of constant scrapping and fighting and battling. I'm a king. There's some goblins out there, I'm going to go and fight them and clear them off my land. My neighbour's pissing me off, so I'm going to go and steal their land. You are the king, it's constant battles. It's not necessarily that the end of the world's happening. There's sometimes world events, the Eye of the Abyss last year, it all flared up. But it wasn't world threatening, it was world affecting.
It's more the political intrigue and the battles.
And constant battle. 16th century Europe.
So are our vanguards then fighting to gain small advantages in these wider battles?
Exactly that. So I thought what happens is, if the Battle of Waterloo, it was a battle with 2 or 3 days before it where there was a lot of skirmishing for positions and everything else. 3 days from now you're bringing your force up and there's a goblin army over there and it's a big one, and you think if they get all those giants we're going to be in trouble.
You need that edge. If
they light those signal fires and bring that other force that they've got 20 miles away over, I'm going to be outnumbered 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1. That's going to be a problem. If they get their supplies up. So you start thinking about, what could be the potential and you go...
You need an elite team.
You go, Captain Bob, come over here, come here. Get your boys and girls, which are specialists, mixed squads, archers, a couple of scouts, some heavy, some lights. Get your boys and girls.
Surgical strike.
I want you to go and capture that giant.
Yeah.
I want you to stop them lighting the signal fires. I want you to disrupt their supply line. Suddenly, you've got a very interesting narrative game. Yeah,
you've got, it's all the words I was, because the narrative there is almost pre-built into the scenarios. Before you even pick any of your miniatures, before you go into it, you're going to be doing something that is going to be time sensitive, or forces sensitive, or is going to have a larger place within a larger battle within a larger world.
And if you want to, you can play 3 or 4 of these on Tuesday night, 2 or 3 of these on Tuesday night, and they can affect you big Kings of War on Sunday.
There's an amazing campaign you could run where you scale it.
Exactly. So it ties right in. At the same time, if you just want to throw down for an hour, 12 scenarios. So there's not 2 or 3, there's 12 scenarios in the core rulebook. Capture the giant. If you capture the giant, you can have him in your army. But actually capturing him, big model, here we go, and who gets him?
The to and fro.
Correct, and he's stomping on you, and so there's some good lighter-hearted ones like that. There's some more serious ones where there's a building which has got all the weapons in for the army the next day. The guards are over here. and you've got to sneak in and destroy it and kill the guards.
Okay.
So you've got defenders versus attackers. These have all been play tested, they've been balanced. But there's narrative right there. When we do narrative, we don't just want to say, okay, here is a 1 point objective token.
Do it.
Do it. We say, light the signal fire.
Yep.
Okay? Or stop the signal fire being lit. So your two factions are there and you've got the signal fire.
This is where you're showing off the beautiful beautiful objectives that we've
And
got
if
here.
they light it, it's lit. But I think the first thing is you're not putting a piece of card on your gaming table, you're putting a piece. Am I on it? Well, are you on it or not? You know, what's
it's a physical item.
We've given you the physical item so that the interaction between the terrain and the game and the models, it's built in.
So how many, in terms, you said about an hour or so, maybe that 90 minutes upwards kind of thing, how many models, miniatures are we looking at in a force? Are we looking at varies?
Yeah, it's not, I mean, it obviously depends how tough you get. We've got a 200-point limit.
Okay.
And you know, you're looking at, hey, we knew it was going to go. We're looking
It's a beautiful set we've got in the corner here, but we can't
8 points, 10 points, then you tool them up. So, you know, 8, 10, 12, depending on your spamming or whether you're going hardcore. Probably 8's very low, 10, 12.
8 is a very elite fighting force, I imagine.
So then, where do you go? You've got your factions.
Yes.
First thing we're going to be doing is rules are going up online. You know, everybody does it now. I know. Well, we did it first with Kings of War. God damn it!
We've had a conversation off camera about this briefly.
But the reality is, I know everybody has 10 or 12 goblins, 10 or 12 dwarves, 10 or 12 elves. They should be Mantic models, but they might not be. But you've got them, and we're all time poor.
Yes. And we always want to try that other thing that we just don't quite have time to paint
New
up before
shiny crap. So pick them out, download the blinking rules, and have a go.
Yeah.
I'm so sure you'll like it, and I'm doing a special promo on the rulebook on the launch weekend. So if you do like it, it's going to be half price.
You guys like crazy Bobby mode there.
I know,
Fantastic. Just
crazy Bobby.
So factions, who have we got?
So then you get into your factions. In the thingy, in the main rulebook, there's 14 factions. Each one is army light.
Yes.
6, 7, 8 options. You can have a go with the miniatures you've got. Certainly, your Mantic models will, a few quid you pick it up. But then what we've done is we've rolled on over the top 4, very quickly 5 and 6, factions that are fully developed.
Yes.
These are now the kind of uber level, where they've got not just the stats in the rule book, but they come with a force card. So the Night Stalkers has a force card, and that gives you that their army causes dread.
So these are your bespoke rules for this faction, for this.
Correct. And this is kind of taking the meta game on, and then you get the cards for each of the models in your range. So I'll just pick up this one, which was this is the Phantom. So there's the Phantom. So
I have to mention as well, the miniatures continue to be fantastic. I know it's an easy thing to say, but it's
because
beautiful.
we're used to doing armies, you know, you have to make compromises when you're doing the hard plastic sprues. But when actually we're able to just go and really sculpt some really top-end warbands, you're right in there. You can really spend some time on the variety.
I suppose you've got the lore and the backstory of Kings of War, that you know these groups so well that you can dive into new styles that you really wanted to do with them.
And we've done a few, and it's absolutely spot on. Nightcrawler's new army, we had a new army for Kings of War for a while. None of that, the Northern Alliance, and we'll come back to each of these. But also, we've done the Basileans, but we're allowed to go back into the plastics again. More importantly, these are the heroes for your units. The two-man paladin. So, you know, if I start with the Basileans, where we know the IP, we've got the range, it's all there, but straight away, if you've got a regiment of paladins with two-handed weapons, there's your hero.
Yeah. So
you can just pop them into your unit. So even if you're a Kings of War player and you're not going to play Vanguard, hey, I'm surprised, you're a loony, but
the miniatures there,
use of. And you're going to unlock a whole lot of Kings of War. Palace Guard, these are ogres in the Basilean army,
they are
fully tooled up.
Hefty guys, hefty.
And suddenly, there's 2 of them. Guess what Clash of Kings 2019 book's going to be? There's going to be new units. The new units are going to have these, the rank and file, resin one in the middle, boom. We're now adding to the Kings of War game.
And you again replicating that cross-compatibility that we're seeing within the sci-fi universe.
In our core universe.
Yes.
And so when people have been meaning about Kings of War not doing anything, we've got 6 months of non-stop releases for Kings of War.
I've just been talking about the plans off camera. We can't reveal everything today, but there's a lot. A lot is afoot.
So for the armies that we've got, we're adding some models to give you, you kind of pick them up in this section, easy to go together, glue it together. They're not quite one piece, 2 or 3, but we're not going to glue them together for you. This is a grown-up game. It's not Walking Dead. If people are going to start, they might start with Walking Dead if they're new to the hobby. These are for people that are in the hobby.
This is a Wargames game.
Yeah. And we know you can glue 2 or 3 models together, bash, you're up and running, there's your faction, there's your cards in it, away you go. If you're a Kings of War player, like I say, you've got your plastic sprues coming, that's your rank and file, so the Northern Alliance have some dwarfs, you can use elves in them, you can use any of the plastic sprues, and they just tool in there. That's your rank and file, you might have 1 or 2 of those, but what you're going to have in your faction are these absolute standout heroes.
And these are named heroes, so you'll get to know their names and personalities?
Names, bit of both. Mostly these are positions in the faction.
Type of champion.
Correct. And then you name it up. So the whole thing with this is it's your warband, your story. These heroes level up.
Ah, so they really will gain a personality.
Correct.
And kind of...
So you call that's Theodore Redhead, and she's Melissa the Blue, and they are your characters. They're going to be in your faction. What happens every time I've played is you always set it up, you send the grunt in so you outnumber them, and then you come in and try and do your killing blow with this guy. So they get it always goes wrong, and your grunt ends up getting 4 kills, strings together, and you're like, I want the points on my hero. But yeah, your faction takes on a character as they become your gang.
And you've got options for future modelling, I suppose. And if you've got a grunt that constantly smashes, you're like, right, the next game I'm going to have a new champion, and they're going to look like that grunt, and they're going to be amazing.
And they're going to come on. And so it is. I'm just trying to show some of the minis off here.
The minis are gorgeous.
We've got a beautiful range. You've got, in the first wave of upgrades, you're going to have the Night Stalkers.
Yep.
You're going to have the Northern Alliance, 2 brand new armies.
What can you tell us about them in terms of their themes without giving too much?
No, I can give you the themes right away. So the Night Stalkers are the worst imaginable dreams.
The bad of bad.
Yeah, and they're almost summoned as. We've got abyssals, which are literally the fiends and animals from hell.
Yeah, but these are your nightmares.
These are your nightmares. And they're summoned in that kind of, they live in that magical space and are pulled forth from that.
They look like a really terrible Halloween for somebody.
Yes.
Like some of the characters, they look like they've
nightmares.
just dragged themselves out of the closet for this kind of like child's nightmares, as we said.
Yeah, and they've got a beautiful range from the kind of Scarecrow-esque feel, which are your rank and file troops, coming up to the kind of Raptor style.
Yeah.
And, this bulbous, it's really filthy stuff. I'll put the cards in.
It's alright, I'll pop some of these a little bit closer so you can
Phantom, Reapers, Shadowhounds, the Horror, they're all there. It's big, giant and brain. So quite magical, quite fear-inducing, very, very characterful. Going to be coming out as an army in January. So there's your heroes, and there's some of that stuff.
So how about Northern Alliance then? Who are they?
So the Northern Alliance are we realised we didn't have enough goody armies that were kind of fighting on the forces of good. It's easy to do with baddie armies, and these are the kind of people that have travelled north up into the colder regions, but they're the ones that want to live in a more equitable society. They're not looking to go fighting.
No, they want to seclude themselves and
live peacefully and get on with life. And so they moved out of the way up into the northern wastes, and they could be dwarfs, they could be elves, they can be humans that have moved up there. Yeah. They have secrets and things that they protect to keep away. And while the Basileans are good, the Basileans sometimes are so good, they're very good, and if everyone doesn't do it the good way, then they get stabbed and killed.
Ungooded.
Correct.
So these kind of like you're almost like lawful outlaws.
Yes.
In the sense of they're this kind of communal group.
Or chaotic good.
I bet you get a really good hodgepodge of mixtures then if you've got all these different races within this faction.
And you can add, and there's a lot of modelling opportunities there, and you can do some fun stuff with it if it takes. And I think these are the ones that I like the background, but I couldn't see the sculpts. I thought they could end up being a little bland. Oh my goodness.
I love the idea that you can come up with your own tribe and the identity and everything that goes with it, because the models...
The colour scheme. It could take red, it could take yellow, it could take green. They've gone blue here, and I think it just jumps out at you. It does. And I think that's just a great counterpoint to this. Then you're coming back into the more normal, but all of these are, Mantic kind of IP, Mantic story. The main players in the Mantic universe. You've got the Abyssals, they're breaking out from the abyss, they're putting a threat on the world. There's some shining ones and the opposite shining ones down there, the bad ones, and this is starting to put pressure on the living spaces. That's the main area. And then the bulwark against them, which are the Basileans, which are standing up there and squaring up to them.
So how can we expect these Vanguards to behave on the table?
They are, you basically, they're individual models.
Yes.
But you can do, and that leads us, you are.
There we go.
Hey, you are ahead of me. So, tests, D8s, exploding 8s, so you get that kind of outline.
Exploding dice, always the best thing in the world.
And I think the exploding 6s, too narrow a band.
Yeah.
Happens too often. fudges the game. D8, that exploding 8, allows for those outlying where he just goes ninja and kills everybody.
It is something you've seen in Dead Zone that's been incredibly successful. You're like, yeah, we've got to have that.
And that's one of our things. So your tests are done off D8s. Your stat line, you've got your speed. So a Phantom's moving at 5, meleeing at 5+, armour is 5+,
yeah.
Defense, nerve 4+, wounds 2. So, and then you've got keywords: stealthy, fly, vicious.
So is that very much modern stat line of this is what I need to roll, I've got it straight away on the card, and these are a few keywords, just give them a bit of flavour.
So nice and quick, once you've got the masters of it,
really
and you've got the cards, really
yeah.
accessible. And then you've got your power dice. And what we like about this is this allows you to introduce an element of risk into being able to fire off your buffs and your stats.
Is this because of the nature of the risks that these guys need to take within the battle?
And also it's heroic. Yeah. So you're not going to get none unless you're very unlucky, in which case you're going to, okay,
there we go.
There's 2. So I'm going to be able to get 2 buffs away.
Yes.
They can either be group move. Okay, I want these 3, which are mini squad, to go and do it and take something. And you think if an individual I do that, he's going to lose, but I can go 3.
Bam.
Has an impact. So there it is. You can get away your stat for your faction buff. Your heroes will have buffs. You get 3 for your faction. You add hero dice for the more heroes you have, the more big things you have. Your heroes allowed to re-roll them. So if I get a blank, I can get it going again. And this is where you're adding that heroic and surprising element, because at that desperate moment when you're in all manner of trouble,
that surge of unpredictability,
and it gets you to be able to go fight and then fight again, or move and then move again. And so it starts out as basic line buff, but moves up through army specific, faction specific character.
Are we talking alternate activations in this, or are we talking you go I go?
I think it's alternates.
Yeah.
Popping through. Just check. But it is absolutely.
So we're seeing that mirrored Dead Zone again approach.
Yeah, because otherwise
you don't want to watch someone kind of just go
and you want to respond.
Yes.
The idea is, while it's all simultaneous, essentially, as I go there, I'm doing that, and you've got a choice: do I respond to that, or do I force my narrative?
Do I let that slide, and if I can push this way?
Yeah. So you've got a few objectives.
So talk us through the objective thing. So we've got some hidden behind here. These.
Well, like I say, from the starting point, it may well be that on your first battlefield. You start with a couple of 2-pointers in the middle and some 1-pointers out on the outside edge. And this is where you get familiar with the rules and it's set up, and you've just got to go and be adjacent to these, and you store up the 1 point and 2 points. They're very, very visually obvious.
Yes.
You can use now this is actually a set called Battlefield Objectives.
Yes.
And they come with things like the gold that you can see here, food, weapons and armour. So they're on your battlefield, you run over and you kind of are on those points, and it's very clear about you be touching them or within 2 inches of them to claim the victory points. You build up your victory points. That's your getting started battle, and your default to go back to line up and scrap.
Yeah, this is our standard, we know what we're doing with this, bam.
Yeah, and first battle on the tournament day is there. But as it gets more sophisticated, you can then scale up to capturing the dragon's egg.
And you said there was 12 scenarios that they've got.
12 scenarios.
So there is a real variety that you can have on a
some of the lighted-hearted, some defend versus attack. Yeah. So sometimes where you're both trying to chase and do the same thing, you don't want it to happen, so you've got to fight them off from doing it. They're going to try and make it happen.
Yeah.
So and there's one where the cart walks through the battlefield, so you're defending that thing.
You're like bodyguarding. That's amazing.
And those are the things that are great visually and great ideas. You've got to spend a lot of time making sure that is balanced.
Yes.
And you usually say, by the way, pick your forces, play it twice.
Yes.
You attack, defend, I defend, attack. And then you get, right now, aggregate that score.
And then you've got it.
Then you've got
so you've both got to play with that kind of, the challenge that goes with it.
And then who wins between the two. So you sometimes see that. But you could be saving the princess.
I love the damsel in distress.
Yeah, got to be done. Taking the magic zone.
Yes.
And this set is there. Obviously, it all integrates. I've got a couple of pieces here, but that's from our terrain crate range, where you can have the barrels, so you can make up your own scenarios very quickly. You can, if you don't have these, but you want to say, I want to mark out my objectives, but I've got terrain crate. Fine. There's your 1-pointer. Something else, your 2-pointer. So they're very visual. They're clear where they are. You don't have to have a nasty piece of card on your gaming table, which is just one of my.
We've been talking about Ronnie's. We've got a shared terrain obsession a little bit here, and we've just been able to put them out and going, it's there.
Could you imagine? We've got these beautifully painted minis. We've got lovely terrain, trees, nice gaming tiles, and then guess what? Here's a big fat piece of you know, cardboard stuck here, and that's what you have to go and fight.
And it adds to the visual identity of the game, doesn't it? I suppose
no, I'm not having that. Not having that for a second. Forget about it. Not happening. So there you are. Visually, you can take your gaming, but your gaming and your scenarios and objectives interact really well.
We've got those 12 scenarios already play tested incredibly well. I imagine, where can we see the future going?
Well, I mean,
Sky's the limit,
yeah, great. If it's playing like creative, well, there's two big things I think we're going to talk about. The first is, for some reason, dwarfs became the 5th faction. No idea why.
There's a whiteboard somewhere in capital letters.
Saying, I own the company, it's dwarfs.
This is mine.
Yeah. Now, but the serious thing there is, I wanted to then, these were the telling the Mantica story.
Yes.
And we've opened it up so that no matter what models you've got, you can have a play.
Yep.
And even if you've got an army that doesn't feed you Mantica, there might be downloadable rules to try out with some other armies from other company. It's because we want you to give the game a try. We think you'll like it. But then I wanted to come back and say, look, we've not done much love for the dwarfs for a while.
No.
So we then can put, because it's 6 or 7 or 8 sculpts, the best sculptors we've got on it. These are your heroes. These are your absolute, come on, take Captain Bob, take your boys out and go and mess those guys.
You need to spot these from the table edge and know immediately the identity, the personality, the...
Correct. And so the dwarf faction, which we might be able to get you a picture of, you can put up here. These are beautiful resin. I glued them together last week. And they went together sexy as heck. I got some of my other figures, put them next to them, and you know what? It's very obviously making a regiment straight in there as my hero. So these are resin, the premium resin, and we're just going to roll through, and as long as the appetite's there, the second one's going to be goblins.
Ah, okay.
Ninja goblins.
Ninja goblins.
We can have some fun.
SAS goblins going in.
Yeah, then you go in. So we can come back to each of these armies and sometimes say they're heroes. But actually, we've got quite a lot of heroes in the goblin range. No, we're going to make them the SAS goblins.
Yeah.
We're going to make them the hardcore factions. Now, the dwarf ones will just be heavier armoured with better weapons.
Yeah.
But the ninja goblins won't be. They will be
crafty.
And we can put some real character into these factions that then can bleed back into the armies. And then when we come back and do them, we're also looking at a giant conversion. So we've got a beautiful big giant which you can use in the game. But that's a Kings of War giant. But actually, when we do the Goblin month, we're going to put the Goblin giant out with it. So suddenly you've got big green skin giants. So Nightcrawler army we've talked about, Basilean army coming. We're just unlocking the Northern Alliance, so there's a whole flurry of Kings of War stuff. You've got Kings of War, Clash of Kings book 2019 is going to hit in December.
So this is a real push for Kings of War coming through, a real kind of...
we do it every year, but in the past we were doing it kind of late in the year, then it became January, then my January, February tournaments, which rules do I use?
Yes.
So they're coming out in December.
Yeah.
So in December you
get Christmas break to get ready to go.
Agreed, and then from January every tournament can be on the new rules. With the new errata, you're going to have new units in it, which are going to be derived out of the Vanguard units, the work we put in. So I think that kind of cohesive excitement and whole is all just starting to power through the middle of the...
This really does feel like the missing piece in that range, essentially, that it's just going to slot in and...
hopefully recruit new people.
Yes.
All those people have been damn, you know what, I fancy playing Kings of War, but I'm just not going to paint 200 figures.
We're in the skirmish renaissance at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's so accessible, and I think, I'm not going to play the old man card here, but the less time we have, the more these games...
And 25 quid for a faction, 25 quid for the book.
Can't complain.
You're in, and if you get it on the first weekend, there'll be a special promo on it, because I wanted people to try it, and then you go, you know what, I've been doing to that, I'm in, you have a go, and I think it's a runner, because we can then put out new factions every quarter, we can put out new scenarios every 6 months or so, we can have a community where, if you do it, have some credit on the store, play test some games and put them up, and what we all want to do is take our minis out and over an hour or two have 1 or 2 games, so you don't have to be too stressed about it. It's not too serious. You want to play to win, have a couple of beers while you're doing it, 2-3 games in a night. It was great when you did that, you really caught me out.
I want
with
to try
that.
and defend it next time.
Correct. My faction couldn't do very well when it was attacking, but it was awesome defence. That's what gaming's about. It's fast and it's fun and it's good fun and it's a great way to spend an evening.
I'm sure you can hear it in his voice, but we were talking before recording. This is a real... I know every project is a passion project, but it seems to have captured the air at Mantic is electric with Vanguard at the moment. And I think it's the potential of where this could lead.
It's huge, and I think it could be our I think Guild Ball and Infinity had really great runs where they popped out.
Yeah.
I was always disappointed that Dead Zone didn't do that, because I think it's such a magnificent game.
Yeah.
It's so evocative, and the interaction between the terrain and the game is so much. But we didn't quite have the game rules right for the first edition. We did for the second, but you'd lost the opportunity then. People had tried it and gone. I was not prepared to let Vanguard be anything other than...
This is going to be lightning in a bottle.
And I wanted to get it right first time. You don't get 2 swings at it at this level now. There's too much choice out there.
Yeah.
I want this to be, okay, in October, you'll be playing Orcs in Vanguard rather than Orcs in anything else, because no, it's going to run and run.
It is.
And I wanted to be out there, and I think the guys, I've already built 2. I'm at the stage now where the painting is hard, but I'm enjoying gluing stuff together. So
there's a lot of people already who've got their factions outside this door going, I've got this, but I want this one next.
Yeah, and I've done a Trident Realms one, because I'd always fancied doing a Trident Realms army.
Yeah.
But I just haven't finished my Dwarf army yet. But as soon as the faction came up, I was just like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to do that. And I had a great weekend gluing it together and sticking it together. Don't know how it plays yet, but it's all there, glued, and it's based. It was good fun, lovely modelling, nice kits, and we can keep scrolling through. So really, really exciting.
That's incredibly positive. Thank you very much for your time again.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Catch up with Vanguard when we can. Hi guys, thank you very much for watching our video. If you've enjoyed this content, feel free to check out some more over there, or even consider supporting our channel through merchandise and Patreon in the description below. As always, hit like, hit subscribe, join us on our Facebook group, and we'll see you in the next one.